I should basically be dating like 10 people at the same time.
The people I dated in the past helped me to appreciate my husband today more.
Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Can we talk about that for a little bit?
I don't know.
Because my mom also gave me that advice. I want to confess that I actually took that advice. The actual advice was to date as many as 3 guys.
Welcome to the Beyond 30 podcast, where we talk about everything life, love, and laughs beyond 30. And today I have with me my beautiful girlies, Tammy.
I'm Kome.
And I'm Femi. And today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. You know, this is the season of love. This is Valentine's. I'm sure you guessed from all our red outfits. So we're feeling very, very, lovey-dovey. So, but it's still red. It's still red. We can see the red. Okay. So we're talking about dating lessons, right? So for those of you who are newbies to the dating game, we're going to be sharing what have we learned from dating in the past. So in your 20s, those of you that started dating as teenagers, what did you learn from dating, and what would you tell your 20-year-old self now if you could go back in time about dating? Or what would you tell your daughter if your daughter asks you about dating? What would you tell her that you learned and that she should apply during dating? So let's hear from you guys.
What is dating? How do you know that you've actually started dating somebody?
Obviously, if the guy says, "Oh, would you be my girlfriend?"
But some people just start dating.
That's no. I think for me, we need to define it. Like, are we just keeping each other company, or are we actually dating?
Yeah. I prefer defining to, because that's what leads to situationships when it's not well defined. But some people actually,
you know what? Like,
when you're dating yourself,
I don't know. So I feel like these days, people see dating, maybe also depending on where you're coming from. Like in Nigeria, maybe we have to wait for someone to say, okay, are you going to be my boyfriend or girlfriend? But here, when they go out, they're dating.
Yeah.
Or
going on a date is different from dating. Yes.
Okay, so if you
can go on a date with someone you're not dating.
So wait, are you saying that when you're dating somebody, you're obviously in a relationship with them?
Yes, so that's what we call a committed relationship. Okay. So that one, there cannot be any ambiguity. Like, there's nothing like, "Oh, I'm dating you, but you're not dating me."
So you're my official, whether you're doing closed or open.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that's just like a different topic for a different day.
Okay. So we know dating is when you're actually in a relationship.
Okay. So are we saying definition? Dating is when the guy asks you out or you ask the guy out and both of you agree to date.
100. Not
when you guys were doing things and you just became boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
Is that one a situationship?
In fact, I think that should be lesson number 1. Yeah. That don't let anybody put you in a situation where you're not sure whether you are dating in a committed relationship or you guys are having fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women have found themselves in situations where they were actually dating themselves.
Yeah.
To them, they were dating a guy, but the guy was like, "No, that's not my." That's you. And I'm like, okay, but we've been doing everything that people that date do, right? So, makes sense.
So what are the lessons? What are some of the things that you've experienced in your past relationships or in your dating life when you were younger?
Should we talk about length of dating? Because some people will say, like, for example, dating that leads to marriage. Some people will say, "Oh, you have to date the person for a certain number of time," or if you date longer, then it's more good. It's going to be a successful marriage, or it will lead to marriage. Or what do you think?
I mean, then I didn't think a lot about how long I wanted to date somebody for. But for sure, if I'm dating somebody, it means that I potentially see them as a future life partner. That's my own mindset back then.
Well, at the setting, when did you start dating? No, I asked because someone said dating in secondary school. And in secondary school, I don't know if you are seeing the person as a potential or even early in university. But when you are not getting to your final year.
I was parent. We were not dating to just date.
Dating for the For marriage.
Just dating with focus.
With a focus.
Exactly.
No, yeah, I mean, my dating spans as early as 17, 18. Yeah.
So that time you were dating for marriage?
I'm like, if I cannot marry this person, what's the point?
At 17.
Oh, yeah, but that makes sense actually.
Yeah.
Like I think. Okay, let's put context on it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people who maybe have similar backgrounds to us, we were taught that if you're dating, you are not dating to
just
have sexual relations and just mess yourself around. You're dating because you want to get married. And it truly is that a lot of our moms got married in their early 20s.
Yeah.
So 17, if you were dating, let's assume you started dating at 17 or 18, you're going to date this person for a little bit and maybe at 22.
That's a long time to date.
I mean, there are people
getting married.
Yeah, like, okay, so
Not even getting, you should be married.
She obviously has a different perspective. For you, what was the focus? Or how early did you start dating?
At 17. How early I started dating? There was some random thing we called dating in secondary school, maybe SS2.
That's why I did
that. Was it towards my SS2 my school that they give you vows, gifts, everything. So we were dating, but it's not like we used to go out or anything. It was just in school. That's a school boyfriend.
This is why I
kind of
asked this
thing.
question.
Yeah, that was dating. Right? Well, we asked ourselves out now. The guy asked me out at that point in time, like secondary school. Like, that's the definition of this. So we're dating. But we're not
Okay. At what point did you get serious? Like, I'm dating now in interest. Okay.
At university, you were already 17, 18 though. Think about it as a Nigerian. You finished school at 14, 15.
Yes.
Secondary school.
Yes. But in university, I was 17, 18. But at 17, 18, I wasn't dating. I think when I said dating, it was around that 19, 20.
Okay.
Yeah. So at that time, yes, of course, my mind was going there because I was already like halfway through school and it's like, okay, obviously when I finish school, I have to have.
And a lot of women mature so much faster than men.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
So now we can talk about the lessons that, okay, now that we all started dating around the same age, I think if I was going to be completely candid, the number one lesson is, apart from the one we just mentioned, don't be in a situationship and think you're dating, but is you can't make a guy want you if he doesn't want you.
100%. No matter how many kids you give birth to for him, not be to
Like,
marry.
it doesn't matter if you're going to become the rainmaker.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want you, he doesn't want you. Like, and you know the funny thing, it's so possible for someone to be telling you all the right things, but his actions obviously make you see and know that this man does not want you.
Yeah.
So I think if I could go back and tell my daughter, I'd be like, don't listen to what he's saying.
Watch his actions.
Watch his actions. Is he talking to you, or is he showing you that I intend to have you around for the long term, not for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
But you know what? Still on that, some guys do give mixed signals. It's like you don't want this person, but you're not exactly telling. If she wants to go, you're dragging her back. Oh, stay.
Yeah.
So what does the girl do at that point in time?
I feel like at that point you need to now give yourself like a kick off the backside and be like, if this guy wants me, there won't be any mixed signals. Like I would know 100% that he wants me.
Yeah.
It's good to have this at the back of your mind, but mind you, when you start dating, most of the time your brain is not working.
It just shuts down.
Your brain, you're just all in like emotional drama. Like you're going through a lot of emotional changes. You're just thinking, oh my God, I love this guy so much, and this and this and that. Your brain is not, it's almost like somebody has to be the one waking you up constantly. So in light of that, I think a good thing would be to have solid people around you that you can listen to.
Yeah.
That can tell you, okay, I don't think that guy is treating you right. So I don't think that guy really wants you, you know, because then that way it kind of helps.
Definitely.
I actually see a point to what you're saying, because I think that personally, at every point in time, I've had friends who were very candid with me about whoever the guy was.
Yeah.
Right? So imagine if you are in isolation and you're dating this person in a bubble. Like all these people that will be like, I don't want anybody to know about my relationship. I don't want my friends to know about my relationship. Don't put me on social media. And so it's just you and this guy in a bubble. And then all these things are happening and there's no one to talk to about it.
Yeah.
I can see how that would be like even worse than anything that could even happen in a relationship now.
Yeah. So that's another lesson. So first lesson, make sure
it's defined.
Make sure it's defined.
Yeah.
Second lesson,
Read the signs.
make sure that the guy
Wants
you.
Yeah, no
or the
mixed
person
signals.
wants you. It can also go the other way. I
Yeah,
know we're
obviously.
talking from the female perspective, but also
Like obviously.
male perspective. Third thing is, if you know that your brain is fully not functional, because I mean, some of us were very aware of things we wanted and things we didn't want. But if you know that you're not sure yet what you want, why? Because maybe you've not experienced too much, you've not seen so much, right? Have people around you that are solid, good advice. It doesn't even have to be like advice. It can be like an aunt or your mom or a friend or like somebody older or your sibling, like elder sibling. It can be anybody.
Just people that can be
makes sense.
honest.
Just
yeah,
people
and
that
tell
can be
the
honest
truth,
with you,
whether
really.
you like it to hear it or
I
not.
won't
they
depend
will.
too much on friends.
Honestly,
Because sometimes, like in that
it can be
circle, like all of you are going through the same thing.
Yeah. No,
and
yeah.
some of them might not also have your your best interest.
Some might even have the interest, but they don't have the exposure. Like imagine people that are just all starting to date and they've not watched this video, so they don't know the dating lessons, you know?
No. You guys, I actually disagree with you because at the time I was seriously dating.
Yeah.
Right?
Give context of the age.
So I started dating when I was 18. I just turned 18.
Okay.
So were you seriously dating?
I was dating with intention.
But not seriously dating.
I think it got serious
Okay.
after like the first year.
Okay, so
Because
when
by
you
then
were
I
like
was
19.
I was in my third year
Okay.
at university. The truth is that because of the kind of upbringing I had, there was absolutely no way under the sun that my mom was going to have like a front seat to like rule, to my dating experience. Because at that age, we're even still lying.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a boyfriend? No money.
I mean,
like obviously,
there's some people
right?
that can.
We're
but
still
yeah,
lying. Like
yeah.
I personally, I was still lying at that age. Like there was
lot of us were.
there was nothing.
Yeah.
Hopefully my mom's not watching this.
Exactly.
There's obviously nothing that would have made me tell my mom like, oh yeah, I'm dating and his name is
When you have not
absolutely
graduated.
not, right?
How
You
dare
had not
you?
graduated. So, and even when like, there's this relationship I have in mind right now, like I thought I was going to marry this person, right? But the thing is, even at that point, I was living by myself in a different country and I didn't have my parents there.
Yeah.
So I hear you guys when you say like, oh, don't really rely on friends. But actually, my friends saved me because they were the ones who were watching everything. You know, imagine when someone is dating you and then he's talking to someone else.
Yes.
And then they ask him like, oh, what's your relationship with XYZ? And he's like, oh, she's just my friend. Like, I'm not in the room, but my friend is in the room. And she's now the one telling me, come here, I don't think that this guy is serious about you, right?
Yeah.
So my friend saved me, so.
I mean, so that part I get to, where like your friends can be the best people to go to when it comes to like really knowing how serious the guy is about you. But when it comes to like, actually, that makes sense. Because when it comes to like all the other family members, your mom has probably not met this person. Maybe you have a cool aunt.
Yeah.
Like I had an aunt that was like in my business a little bit. Wanted to know what was going on, so she would give like not all the advice made sense.
Yeah.
Some of the advice
old
was
school
like,
advice.
this one is going borderline, like I should basically be dating like 10 people at the same time. Yeah, because some of them, she didn't say that, but like it's almost like that thing where it's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Can we talk about that for a little bit?
I don't know.
Because my mom also gave me that advice.
No, I think it's their generation because I think they just
get
wanted
the
to, I think some of them didn't have a lot of options.
get
They
the
just
rumor.
locked themselves to one person and everything that was
So they
about.
feel like they missed out on something.
Maybe. They want to live through it. I don't know. I don't know why.
Like when I started asking my mom a bit more about this, what she said is, you don't want to be in a committed relationship with one person for like 4-5 years.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up one day and says, oh, I'm sorry, I can't marry you. And then you feel like you've wasted all that time.
But that's
So what's now the option to be date someone else by the side?
That's what a lot of them
the actual advice was to date as many as 3 guys. This one is a podcast for a different day because
that's a different discussion.
So the advice was date 3 guys at the same time.
Yeah.
I want to confess that I actually took that advice for a little bit.
I didn't know. Hey, I want to confess I didn't.
No, but how did you? I'm curious now. Let's
How do you manage it?
How did you manage? Did you have timetable? Like, okay, I'm seeing you today. No, I said so on Monday. No, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then this one is calling. What if someone is calling when you are with the other person? Did you store their name as something else?
No.
So how did you do it?
So this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
I want to confess that this thing, obviously, it caused a lot of complications.
For who?
For everyone involved,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But I think that I needed to go through that to learn the lessons that I needed to learn. Okay. So let me put it like this. Yes, you have multiple suitors at every point in time, right?
Yeah.
And each of them is going to have traits that you like, but they're not perfect. So some people are going to have more than the other, right? And so what that experience showed me is what I really wanted. Like what I really wanted, it then came out as in to the forefront that look, what I was looking for, I didn't know before. I was using the checklist of advice from my older people, like my parents, to decide who a good partner was going to be. A guy who was financially steady, like all of those things. A guy who's a Christian, all of those things. But eventually it turned out that actually that's not what I wanted. I wanted someone who could be my friend. I wanted somebody who would see me as a partner 100%. I was looking for somebody who would be kind and gentle, right? And all of those traits, your mom doesn't tell you, make sure you look for a kind man. No, she says, make sure you look for a man that has potential.
Yeah.
Like, do you get? So a lot of those things, going through that experience, it was complicated. None of those relationships, resulted in marriage.
Yeah.
But what it did teach me was, this is not what I'm looking for. My priorities were different.
Yeah, I think that dating multiple people at the same time can be interesting because, like you said, you get to learn more about yourself. But I feel like sometimes it makes you compare, right?
Yeah, that's
The comparison is good now, but I
that's
just
the whole
can't.
point.
But like, it makes you not be able to focus on like.
Of course, you
One
can't focus on
particular
one
person.
person. You know you can't. That's why I'm wondering how that's why I was asking her questions.
So I think, obviously, I don't want to hog the entire episode.
Yeah.
But the thing is, out of the 3 people, the person I 100% loved, that I really wanted, it turns out, when you're in close proximity, like obviously you might have 3 people, 3 suitors that are chasing you, but then there is the person that your heart obviously wants. But if you didn't have those other people, you won't be able to see this person's flaws because you're just in love. The chemicals are just swirling, right? But this situation forced me to say that he's not actually that kind, right? Like just different things about him. He's not considerate. He's not sensitive, things like that. So at some point, you're going to have to give yourself wisdom and be like, yes, I am in love with this person, but can I marry this person? Can I spend the next 60 years with this person? And
So I guess that's
no,
another
you have to
question.
move.
Yeah, that's another question you should be able to answer when you're dating people too, right?
Yeah.
Is, can I actually marry this person?
Yeah.
As if you're dating for marriage.
If you're not just dating for fun.
You're not just dating for fun. Or going with the flow.
I'm curious. This one, you're very into this. If you're dating for marriage versus fun.
I just
you
did
didn't do a lot of
secondary
dating.
school boyfriend. So I wasn't thinking of marriage at that time.
But that means you had like a whole 4-5 years
Secondary school.
between secondary school and when you now got serious at 20.
Yeah, so I was thinking of marriage secondary school. We're just thinking of buy barbecue for me, buy Fanta, it's Valentine's Day. That's why I'm like, are you people define dating? And it fits the definition. So
I was way too serious about like dating when I started. Like, I mean, considering my background, you can't date without having a future mindset.
Yeah,
At least for me,
somewhere there
when
will
I
be
was a
future, but
teenager.
that was not the priority.
And I did
like
do a lot of
in med school,
secondary
for example,
school.
when
Yeah.
I was just thinking of finishing med school.
Med school is hard.
My priority was not get married. Let me first of all graduate. Because people were dropping along the way. Year 1, year 2, year 2.
You didn't even want any distraction.
Like the marriage was not. Plus all the
sense.
people in that med school, because I schooled in Hungary, right? So I wasn't in Nigeria.
Right.
The options there, I already knew that I won't marry any of this one. So
okay. I guess that helped you in a way.
Yeah, you know what I say for dating lessons for me. I don't really know if this is a lesson, but the people I dated in the past helped me to appreciate my husband today more. If I didn't meet those terrible people, I might have seen my husband and be like, maybe there's more out there.
Ooh.
Do you understand? But after I've seen what I've seen, and then I finally met my husband, I know that, okay.
So the real lesson there is open your eye when you're dating. So that you because you know some people when they're dating, like the way I am, like I'm thinking, oh, this is future, right? And then because of that, you get stuck in that whole. I think this is the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life, blah 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 blah, without realizing that this person might just be passing by in your journey, where you just pick a few things and you just move on.
Yeah. And they will, some of them will show you what you don't want, even if you don't know what you want. Some of them will show you what you definitely don't want. Exactly.
Yes.
So
I think the only difference between Femi and I is that I did my own quickly. Like within the space of 2 years, it was so clear. And then you did yours like over a series of, you know, but then it's the same thing.
Maybe over series, but I've only dated like 3 people in my whole life.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And so maybe it was over, I mean, like in uni, the person I dated was like 4 whole years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's because it was uni and...
I mean, really, like you said,
you didn't have it was just random. It's like, for me, I feel like that uni one was, I was away from home, no family, no nothing, and I had friends. So the dating one is just like a body. Let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that kind of thing. But I'm not sure I was really thinking future, because somewhere at the back of my mind, I cannot marry this one. And that was why when I left university immediately, before I left university, by my final year, I had already broken up with the person, because the person too was a serial cheat. And that's the person that made me know that.
And that's how we know that.
I don't know.
Cheating is your number one thing.
Cheating is my number one deal breaker. Plus, my expertise in decoding cheating, I learned from that. I learned from that relationship.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I think another lesson is when he tells you, like, take him seriously when he tells you stuff.
Yeah.
Right? There's sometimes that the guy will be like, let's see how it goes. And you're thinking that you're going to convince him that...
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Sometimes he'll be like, I'm not ready now. And then you're thinking that, okay, if he just spends enough time with me, if I just do a little bit of this, if I just give him some razzle dazzle, he'll be ready to settle down with me. Absolutely not. Like most of the time, I feel like guys are even more in like contact with their inner consciousness when it comes to dating.
What I realized is for men, when they see what they want, they know and they go for it immediately.
Yes.
So if he's taking time to decide, he probably doesn't want you.
Yep.
A lot of people that I asked when they met their spouses, that is when the man saw them. Most men you ask, they will tell you that the first day I saw my wife, I knew that was my wife. Most, not all, most. Yeah, I've spoken to a lot of men. But there are some that they wasted time. Some eventually, they just settled like, okay, what I want is not available and I need to get married. Let me just marry this one, that kind of thing. So men always know. Maybe it's we women that sometimes can be confused. I'm like, I'm not sure, let's see. But men always know. Like my husband, the first day he saw me, he already knew that I was his wife in quote. And he told me, first phone call, okay, I'm this for the long run. I'm here for my blah, blah, blah. So what do you think? I'm like, but I just like met you yesterday. Like, I don't know. That's so random.
Were you telling him about marriage?
Yeah. You know, he had everything about me. I was like, okay, I'm still trying. You know, my husband. So, you know, with all that, Nigerian girl, let me think about it. So I told him, you know what, let me think about it. He gave me ultimatum. He gave me like 3 days. After 3 days, if I'm not talking about it then, I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Can I allow me to? No, can I allow me to flex more. So, but yeah, I already kind of knew that I liked him. He was what I wanted, at least from what I'd seen. Obviously, you have to date a bit more to see some more traits. But already, like I said, I already knew what I did not want. So he did not fit the picture of what I don't want. And then there were some pictures of what I actually wanted. Like so for me, one of the things I look for is might sound very ransom. It might sound very random, but one thing I always tell myself is I have to date a fine person, because you can't be vexing me and you're looking not fine.
Wow.
Yes,
you have to date a fine person.
Date a fine. So when my husband vexes me, I don't think it's fine because you're lucky you're fine. You get it. And you wake up every day, you're like, fine. I always tell him, you're fine, man, fine, but it doesn't have to take compliments. But yeah, for me, fine is a deal. You have to be fine, so that at least I'll be looking at it. If you annoy me, I'll be like, well, at least you're fine.
That's so interesting.
That's an interesting one.
No, it was. I cannot marry someone that is not fine. Sorry.
We're very clear on that. You know what? Let me go. So for me, a lot of the things we've said, I would take. So I've just been thinking about it. Big dating lesson for me, and I think I saw a lot of people struggle with this. I struggled with it a lot too. Is when you're stuck in like a relationship and the idea of a person that you find it so hard to break up. I think it's one of the things you have to learn. Like if I'm talking to my daughter and I'm like, you have to learn how to break up with somebody. Especially if, like, because, women, we tend to be so nice. We don't want to break somebody's heart. But they will break your heart.
They won't think twice.
They won't think twice about it.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest lesson for anybody else. It's like,
but you know what? How do you break up? Because I think some people need lessons on this, breaking up for real. Some people say they're breaking up 1 week later, they're back together. How do you this person is bad for you?
Yes.
You don't want this person in your life. It's bad news for you. How do you break up and break up for real? Like what are the things you need to do to really break free from this person? Any lessons or...
Breaking up is one of the hardest things. So for me, what I usually do is all the emotional, like all the wonderful things about the person that will maybe distract me from actually telling the person this thing cannot go on anymore. I tend to deal with it in my personal space. Like I'll cry about it. I'll do everything I want to do about it in my own personal space. So when I actually see the person, I'm not like, I've already processed this. I've looked at your picture multiple times. I've analyzed that, you're so good. You've been nice to me in this and this and that. But I have to think about myself. I think that's where being selfish about yourself comes in. Yeah. Where you're like, I'd rather break up with you. I'll tell myself over and over and over again, I'd rather do this now than get stuck in a marriage with you that can cause resentment and even sometimes hatred.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I think part of it might have been a lot of like things I'd seen around me that prepared me for that. Because there's some people literally like they've never experienced too much hard stuff in life that sometimes they don't know how to like detach. So that's how I process. In my personal space, I'll cry, I'll process, I will even take walks and do all kinds of stuff. And then when I see the person, I just basically, sometimes I don't even have to see the person, I can just do it on the phone. Doesn't even have to be that I see you.
So step one, cry.
Cry. Okay. If you're not a crier, maybe process it somewhere else. But in your personal space,
you break stuff.
do it in your head multiple times before you meet the person. And when
so you know what I was actually asking about? It's not breaking up. Is it to send text messages? Say I'm breaking up with you. It's keep it to your word. I broke up with you, and I broke up because some partners when you break up with them, they don't take no for an answer.
No, but the reality is, you don't, because you've told the person, it doesn't mean that you may not fall back.
So how do you prevent
it? Just means you are not going to marry the person. Simple.
Okay.
Do you
so you now go back and date the person.
So you won't date the person. You won't date the person. But like, if you've dated someone for a very long time, it's very hard. Do you understand?
That's what
so you might see the
How
person and fall back into old habits.
Like,
I don't know, like if you're sexually involved with the person, maybe, but that doesn't mean that you're back together.
So how do you prevent yourself from falling back into because you can't really move on.
Let her give us, because me, I don't know.
Man, your girl, the one time that I realized like, okay, I'm so in love with this person, I need to detach. I moved across the country.
What if that's not realistic?
What if you're in school and you can't
What if that's not realistic?
Like at some point you have to
leave your education.
No, see, look, The question is, are you serious about this breakup?
Hey, you're serious.
If you're serious about
I'm
the
serious
breakup,
about my
then
studies too.
no, then you have to find a way to detach, right? For me, detaching for me was actually changing physical location. But if that is not an option, like you have to find a way to change physical location in that same place where you're not hanging out with the same friends. There's nothing like, oh, Tunde is having a party, we're all going to be there,
that's going to
and
be
then you
that's
take
your
yourself
whole
there.
That's what I'm
circle.
trying to tell you, okay? That is
No.
very hard. That's the harder part. So that's the harder
Okay,
part.
imagine this in a school setting. You go to lectures every day. You guys have the same
Yeah,
set of
same
friends because you are
person.
schooling
You
internationally.
change
So
friends.
even your friends are limited.
change
And
friends.
because you are dating, you guys have the same circle of friends. So you now go and look for new friends to make.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, are you like you have to choose? I know this sounds very ridiculous, but you have to choose yourself. And if you're leaving this relationship, you're leaving the relationship for a reason because it's not healthy for you, because there's something you've seen that actually puts you at risk. So do you love your friends more than you love yourself?
But you
It's a mental process. The way I see it, like what you're saying, is if circumstances allows you to be able to change physical location or complete disconnect from the person, then do it. Do whatever you can. But if you're really stuck with that person, you have to mentally find a way to work through it. But what I'm trying to say is, even if you see the person and maybe something, it doesn't mean that you're back in a relationship with this person. Is what I'm trying to say.
Think it's harmful to keep falling into?
Yeah.
Of course not. Of
Because
course
you
not.
can't
Till
truly
when
move on.
something till when you're able to physically change.
You will never be if you keep falling back.
If
You
you
won't
keep
you
falling
won't be
into
able
his
to-
bed, hello. We're not going to come that
I'm
far
saying
out.
so. What?
Honestly.
So the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is, so there's a practical side of breaking up with somebody, and there's a part where you tell the person, "Oh, look, I've broken up with you," right? And look, there's a lot of gray lines around this thing. So that's why I'm thinking about, okay, if we have people that are viewing that are like in that really stuck situation, even if my child or somebody that's close to me experiences it, I'm trying to tell them that mentally, you don't have to be stuck with that person. Or maybe even another thing you can do. I mean, some of the strategies that I think, it's not all of them that I've practiced or processed, but some of the things that I think is maybe pour yourself into something that distracts
Find
you.
a new hobby that's
Yes.
taking all your time. That can
Pour
help.
yourself into something that distracts you, like maybe some people find new things they do.
Photography,
Yes,
start a
those kind of
social
stuff.
media page.
Temi is obviously a very sweet one because as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking of, like, honestly, if you're having a hard time breaking up with somebody, then sometimes it's because you haven't yet defined why you're breaking up. Do you know that there's some people that they're like, I'm breaking up with you, but then the guy is like, why? And you're like, oh, I just don't think it's going anywhere. That's not a
No,
reason.
that's not how to break up.
No.
I
No,
guess you have
like
to
even
learn how
in
to
their
break
minds,
up.
that's what's going on.
Right.
That they're like, I don't really think it's going anywhere. I don't really think you look like my husband. No. So for me, like, think about this, think about it like this. If in your mind, like what you were saying about process it privately, if in your mind, I cannot continue this relationship, I cannot marry this guy because he abuses me.
Yeah.
Because he hits me, because he's wicked, he's mean to me, or because he's a thief, he's a serial cheat. Like, once you have come to terms with like definite reasons why you're breaking up with this guy, I think it's a much easier process.
It's true,
from there.
actually. From experience, I think once you've resolved, if you really deep down, you've resolved that this person is not good for you, it's very easy to break up, actually.
Is it to break up? Is it easy to stay broken up?
Yes,
that's the question.
Actually, if you've really processed why this person is bad for you, and also you don't have, like, I don't know, some people have been through trauma. What's the word?
Stockholm syndrome is what is holding them back.
Yes, and also like they rationalize why that person is doing what they are doing. They're trying to like make that person feel human in a way. No, I'm
Have you
saying
ever broken up with someone that did not take no for an answer?
That is giving stalker vibes.
That question.
That is giving stalker vibes.
Because I found myself in that to eat. It was hard. The only way it could be possible was what Kume said. You just have to leave.
The country.
Leave
But
that
now if
place,
you're
leave
not
that.
able to
So,
leave
so
it,
I was not in a situation where I could leave.
Okay.
So it was like the person will be at your door in the morning when you wake up. I'm not joking.
You report the person
before
to
you get
the authorities.
you go for lecture before you come back. The person is at your door. Like
Okay, that's stalker.
That's stalker.
So-
That one is even more dangerous.
so
isn't it?
it's hard, especially when you are even in the same circle of friends. Person is calling your friend, person is calling you, person sending message. You cannot breathe because the person is choking you. So it was hard, but one thing that helps, like Kome said, was when I
this physically
my internship year. So
Right.
my internship year, I didn't do it in Hungary. I
Yeah.
left.
Okay.
So that helped because I was away and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. And then entirely just graduating and moving out of school. Because the person cannot guess, you don't know where I am anymore.
if they have
You
real
cannot
stalker
find
vibes,
me.
they will stop.
Seen this
That
in
one is
movies.
dangerous. Yeah.
Have you ever seen this in movies where
Yeah.
someone breaks up with someone over the phone, and then the next thing you see, they're tossing the phone into the river or something?
Yeah.
You've not seen
Why are
those
they
kind
tossing
of,
it into the river?
so they cannot
Or
contact
throw it
them
away.
again. The phone is
That's
This
like
age of
extreme.
social media now. There's social media now. You throw
That's
your
like
phone.
extreme.
By the time you log into your laptop,
No,
person's in your
so what
DMs.
I'm trying to say, I'm not saying that's what
okay,
we
so
should
like
do.
it's a spiritual thing or what?
No,
Okay.
what I'm trying to show you is like, like when you're trying to disconnect with someone, it has to be like that.
It has to be
where
dramatic.
The cutting is
Defined.
immediate.
Yeah.
If you leave it too long, if you leave it for the person to start begging
That's
you,
what I'm telling you.
if
That
you leave it,
the cutting is not the problem. How many times did I cut? I see the person at your door. Lecture, the person there with me. Why do you want to cut away? You want to cut away from school.
That was
Like,
next
special
level.
case.
Do you
That
understand?
one
Do you
is
understand?
next level. I don't know how many people actually experience like that level of like. I mean, all the breakups. You just tell them I'm done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, some guys will still say, oh, like forever, I will still, get you back. Yeah, say your own,
Yeah.
right? That's what we were saying. Like what you were saying is once you really know the reason why you're breaking up with this person and the fact that you can't put up with that in a real marriage or in a real relationship, it's not hard for you to stay broken up.
yeah.
For me, I knew the reason. I already knew the reason.
Yeah.
It's just that I was being choked.
That one, I thought they said the guy should love you more. This one is next level.
I thought, like, you even start to feel bad. I'm a wicked person, but I'm not wrong to break up with this person. I love
It's
me.
your right.
You know, so
It is your right.
At that point, actually, that could mess solution
Physical.
was the only way. It's just that it's not always practical because
Not everybody can move.
when I say I
like
dated
that.
person
Yeah,
4 years, maybe from like year one, I've been trying to break up with the person.
Wow.
And because I could not
Hi.
stop my education, it just went on and on.
And that's
till-
the reality.
Yeah.
That's the reality for a lot of people. Is
Yeah.
that they're stuck seeing people like that for a long time.
Even after I left and I came back to Nigeria and everything, the person brother is calling, he's fainting. He's
Oh
fainting.
my
I said, please.
goodness.
Hey, whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Let him faint. Let him
He's
faint.
fainting.
You should take him to the hospital. That was the last I ever had. When
my
the brother
goodness.
come and say he's fainting right now, I said, okay, you guys should take him to the hospital.
It might be
That
one
was
of
the
those.
end.
It's a Nigerian too, right?
It's
It might be one of
Nigerian.
those people that they don't. It's like ego. It's an ego thing, maybe.
I don't even know.
Maybe he just didn't want to feel like you broke up with him.
No, I don't
But
know.
I've
That is
broken
like
up with him
that.
1 million
Everybody
times.
probably already knows. It has to be an ego thing because, like, why can't you just accept?
No, I think it's more of you. So, okay, backstory.
Yeah.
That's the person I'm talking about that is a serial cheat.
Yeah.
So,
Hey.
you are just cheating all the
You don't
time.
have bad
but
attitude on top.
yes, you're bad attitude. You're cheating all the time. And you're expecting the person to be
He
staying
don't
there.
want to secure you.
Yeah,
now.
that kind of thing.
That's what-
Eat your cake and have it kind of
because
thing.
he knows
Yeah.
that you are perfect. That's what it's called, wife material.
So let
They
me
want
be
to just
playing
put them
first
on the
while
side.
so
And thankfully, you were not gullible enough to fall for it. A lot of girls fall for that stuff, especially
fall for
good
that
girls. Good,
Especially good
and this
girls.
uni stuff, like a lot of good girls fall for that, where somebody is an obvious,
red flag.
like everybody around
Yeah.
you knows that this person is an obvious red flag. But for some reason, you just notice that you're dating some girl, and that girl is like head over heels, oblivious to that stuff. And I'm like, God, I wish I could tell this person and say, you can break up with this person. There's going to be more and more guys available for you. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So that for me, that's a big thing for my daughter or anybody close to me is learn how to break up and not accept rubbish. And it doesn't even have to be something that's like big. If it's something you can't handle, other girls can handle it. You can't handle it.
Oh,
Very okay.
You just opened the canker worm. I knew I couldn't stand a dirty guy.
So I said it before.
This boy and that guy.
Like,
The guy must have traumatized them because
like, have you seen those kind of people that they obviously cannot take care of themselves? Like maybe their mom didn't teach them to bath properly or to brush. Like there's just some people who just have really poor personal hygiene. And then on top of that, they're not even tidy. Like you might be untidy.
Yeah.
But you're not dirty.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that are, oh my goodness, they're looking for someone who's going to clean up after them every step of the way. Like, I don't want to be in a position where I'm telling you, baby, brush your hair. Baby, brush your teeth. Did you brush your teeth today? Baby, take a shower. Like, oh my goodness. So I think the lesson here is basically, if you see a man that is not tidy, that is not clean, don't waste your time, sis.
that's very specific.
That's
Because I thought we were talking about dating lesson.
very specific.
Don't waste your time,
Date
sis.
yourself. Unless you yourself, you are not clean.
Like, honestly,
don't date
do you know it's even okay if you are not clean, right? Because you know why?
Why?
It's your own self. Like, but imagine having to watch over a man like a child.
Yeah.
It's
I hear you.
ridiculous,
I
but
hear
yeah.
you.
Okay. So we've had
pause
dating
here.
lesson 1
Yeah.
where we said defining. Dating lesson 2.
Love. If know when the guy wants you or something like that.
Yeah. Then dating lesson 3. We're talking about breaking up.
People around you, let
Okay,
have good people
for
around
advice,
around
good
you.
people around you, either a relative or
Yes.
friends,
Yeah.
friends that give good advice. And then
Yes.
we're talking about breaking up. Number
Learn to
1,
break
cry.
up.
Break
Number
up.
2, relocate.
Very important. Very important to let your emotions out in your private space. You don't have to do ugly crying for everybody and go to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Nah, just
But, so know your why. More importantly, like everything, like when you want to break up, know the reason, like when why you're breaking up, and that will help you to stay steadfast in your decision to break up.
That's
know
right.
your why, have a reason, and stick to it.
Yes.
When you want to break up.
And
So
if you can move, take your things.
if you can move.
Jackwa.
Okay, change location in case you have stalker vibes.
Have you? So guys, we come to an interesting segment of the podcast where we have some juicy questions and each of us is going to take turns to answer these questions. So we're going to shake it. Who's going to start?
Why are you looking at me? I can start this fine.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Ooh, okay. This one says, would you admire a woman who asks you out?
No, a question for a guy.
That's true. But let's think about it as a woman. Would you admire a woman who asks you out?
I wouldn't ask a guy out.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't want to be in that position where I'm now always thinking about, are you with me because I asked you out? Like, yeah, no.
Honestly, I'm very curious what our viewers think of this question too. Because
You guys
it's
should
one
let
of
us know
those
in the
things.
comments.
Yeah, you should let us know in the comments because I don't know. I feel like some people. I feel like 3 of us are very traditional in that mindset.
So
where it's
probably have
like-
the same.
Yeah. I don't believe in women asking men out because I still feel like the way the society, not just even the society, like the way I want to be loved. I don't want to be the one that chooses somebody. I want the person to also
Don't start what you can't finish. You have to chase it up.
like basically you could potentially be chasing the guy forever and ever.
time, yeah.
You know?
I think I always want to feel like the price.
Yeah.
And I want to remember that, okay, he chose, like, he chose me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't have that level of
boldness.
Yeah.
What if you now chop?
Okay.
All right.
Let me
next
try.
question.
Cookie jar.
Next question.
I'm shaking.
This must be good.
All right.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. It says, is tradition just an excuse for passivity? So, like, are women gentle because of tradition? Like, is that what it
I
is?
mean, it's a big part. I think I
Tradition
agree.
just
I
an
think so.
excuse.
Like, it's tradition because I think it's kind of related to this one where it says, "Would you admire a woman who asks you out?" Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, we all grew
I
up in a
agree.
very
No.
traditional. What do you call the men? The one that the men control. Pretty
I know
much
what you
everything.
mean. The word is not coming,
Yes.
but I know what you mean.
Yes. So we grew up in that with that mindset, and it also informs like how we think about what we want ourselves and in general. I don't know. It's not. I don't think
No.
it's a passive thing. I think it's just. I just want to be a queen. Just be able to choose. That's all. Right?
No, but you know what? I think this question is actually double-barreled because
Right.
a lot of women hide, and I think they hide behind tradition, right? Especially in the dating scene in marriage, where the man is obviously doing certain things wrong.
Yeah.
And they're hiding behind tradition. So an example is when some women are with people who are serial cheats.
Right.
And they keep making excuses. I've seen a situation where the woman says, don't, even her mom was advising her and saying, don't worry about it too much. After all, he comes home to you. Right? That is an excuse because even if traditionally and culturally people think that cheating is okay, like, is it?
No, of course not.
Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of women are staying still.
Oh, right. I see where you're coming from with that. Okay, so because I was thinking about with respect, like with respect to like women asking men out. That is it because of tradition? That's why we're passive in that approach to asking a guy out, right? But there's a form of asking a guy out that doesn't have to follow tradition. It's not, you're not asking the guy out. You're basically, maybe the guy has been interested in you, but he's not defining it. You can ask the question and say, look,
that one's not asking him out. He's already interested in you.
but you're not
So
hiding you're not hiding under any tradition where you're like waiting for the guy to be the one to lead the discussion.
No, that one is different. That one's not
or the guy
asking.
to
Well, I
choose
think what we're really saying is, should a woman make the first move? If he's already interested in you and you guys are talking, then he probably already made the first move. It's just that he has not now defined where the move is going ahead. That's different. So you can ask to define. We said you have to define relationship.
Don't put me on a hanger. Bro.
Yeah.
What are we?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you know what? Like, we're more open now.
Yeah.
Women should not hide under like, oh, it's tradition, so that's why I'll allow bad behavior.
Yeah.
No tradition.
And I think
no tradition allows bad behavior. Simple.
I think women these days are not
maybe.
even tolerating bad behavior.
Thank God for that.
They are not tolerating it openly. I feel like a lot of women are very vocal about what they would not take and what they will take, but behind the scenes,
Oh yeah, that one. There's a lot of work to do there.
Okay, this is an interesting question, and it's over to you guys.
You're not going to answer.
Who gets to set the rules in modern dating? Who sets the rules? Is it social media?
No,
Is it
I think
society?
I do.
You set it.
I think the woman does.
No, they did say men and women. Who sets the rules? Is it society?
No.
Is it social media? Is it your pastor? Who sets the rules?
I will not listen to any pastor.
Okay, nobody. You set your own rules.
You set your own rules. Why? Because you're the one in the relationship, and if you're dating with the intention to know if you can marry this person, then, like I said, you find out what you want. Your tastes are different.
Okay, you're looking at it from different perspective, right? The way I see this question is asking, like how we said we're traditional and we don't ask guys out. But in modern day dating, that has changed.
What's modern dating? Oh, because of now
Gen Z dating, they're asking guys out.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So then maybe society informed the. So now this modern day dating, who now set the rules of girls can ask guys out?
No, let's actually be honest.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what Gen Z people are doing right now.
I worry for that.
And I am worried about them because they seem to be doing a lot of things that are backwards, right? And they think they're woke. Like if I was advising my daughter is actually Gen Alpha, right? If I'm advising her, you don't want to be the one asking the guy out. You don't want to be splitting the bill with the guy.
Yeah.
You don't start anything that you're not going to be able to continue for the next 60 years.
Yeah.
That is what dating is. Dating is you're getting to know this person for a purpose, not because we're just hanging out. Let's see how it goes. Well, where are you seeing how what goes? But oh well.
So in a nutshell, set your own rules.
Yeah.
Not society, not social media, not your pastor.
So is that what modern
Not your mom or dad. Set your rules for your modern dating. Okay, guys. So who's picking the cookie jar question for the
For the audience?
For the audience. I
have
think Tell me.
Okay. All right.
Tell me.
Sure.
Since you picked first.
Okay. This one is so like related to women being power, you know. Okay, another question. Is waiting holding women back from love?
Waiting for the right man to come up.
Yeah. Is waiting holding women back from love?
Thank God this is the audience that gets this question. So we don't have to.
I don't know. I'll break this one down if I were to answer it. So we're going to be waiting for your comments in the, on our social media pages. And feel free to answer this question however way you want to. Is waiting holding women back from love? All right.
Okay. So thanks for joining us for the very first episode of our Beyond 30 podcast. And we wish you an awesome Valentine's season.
Yes. Happy Valentine's.
Till next time.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.